Today, we're diving deep into a particular coin that has intrigued collectors and numismatists for decades. That's right, we're talking about the 1983 D 1-cent coin. It might look like just another penny, but believe me, there's much more to it. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned pro, you won't want to miss the fascinating details about its history, value, and some shocking finds. So, let's jump right in. First things first, let's take a look at the coin itself. The 1983 D penny is a 1-cent coin that was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark. This penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was in circulation from 1959 to 2008. On the reverse side, we see the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo, which graced the back of the penny for decades. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. His portrait has remained largely unchanged since the coin's inception. But while these details may be familiar, the 1983 D penny has a rich history that makes it stand out from the crowd. Let's step back into the early 1980s for a moment. The 1983 D penny was minted during a period of economic transition in the United States. President Ronald Reagan had just taken office, and the country was emerging from a period of high inflation and economic challenges. Coinage production during this time reflected these times of change. Interestingly, 1983 also marked a pivotal year for U.S. coinage. It was the first year that the U.S. Mint transitioned from producing pennies primarily out of bronze to using a more cost-effective copper-plated. This change in material was a response to the rising price of copper and helped the U.S.So, what makes the 1983 D penny so special. As mentioned, this is the first year the penny was made from a copper-plated zinc core. The result? A coin that looks almost identical to its predecessors in design, but with a different weight and composition. Weighing only 2.5 grams, it's a full gram lighter than the previous bronze pennies. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While this penny is often considered a common coin in circulation, there's a lot of potential for hidden value in these coins, especially when we talk about rare varieties and error coins. Let's talk value. In average circulated condition, a regular 1983 D penny is worth, well, exactly 1 cent. That's right, just a penny. But, like many coins, its worth can increase depending on its condition and any potential errors. However, if your 1983 D penny is in uncirculated condition, its value can increase to 50 cents to $1. But, that's just for a well-preserved, regular coin. The real excitement comes when we explore some of the rarer, more valuable error coins. Now, for those of you who are serious collectors, this is where it gets fun. The 1983 D penny has been known to have a variety of errors, and these error coins are the ones that collectors are hunting for. Let's take a look at the most notable ones. One of the most valuable and sought-after errors for the 1983 D penny is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin was misaligned during production, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. A double die 1983 D penny can sell for hundreds of dollars, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to shift to one side. Off-center 1983 D pennies can be worth anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on how far off-center the strike is. So, how much could a rare 1983 D penny be worth? Well, depending on the error and condition, certain 1983 D pennies have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. For example, an uncirculated 1983 D double die penny in mint condition was sold for over $1,500. That's a far cry from the original value of just 1 cent. So, it's definitely worth checking your collection and looking for those rare varieties. Now, you might be wondering, where can you find these rare pennies? The good news is, 1983 D pennies are still in circulation, and you can find them at local stores or from coin rolls you purchase from the bank. Beyond that, check out coin shows, local coin shops, and online auction platforms, where you may come across 1983 pennies in various conditions, including rare era coins. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt and the joy of discovering a piece of history in your pocket. So keep looking, keep collecting, and who knows? You might just stumble upon a 1983 penny that could make you a little richer. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Also, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin like this. Until next time, happy collecting. Let's start with a quick overview of the 1983 1-cent coin. This penny was minted in the United States and features the well-known Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, a design that was first introduced in 1959 and remained on the penny until 2008. On the obverse, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, which has graced the coin ever since its debut. What's interesting about the 1983 penny is that, like all pennies minted after 1982, it was struck using copper-plated zinc, rather than the previous all-copper design. This change was made to reduce the cost of production, as the price of copper had been rising dramatically during the early 1980s. So, while it may look the same, the material used in the penny is now a bit different. Footage transitions to historical images from the early 1980s, clips of President Ronald Reagan, the U.S. economy in the early 1980s, and scenes from 1983. Let's take a step back into the early 1980s to understand why this coin is so significant. The year 1983 was a time of major change for the Ronald Reagan was in office, and the country was grappling with inflation, high unemployment, and an ongoing recession. The U.S. Mint was faced with the challenge of continuing to produce coins while also trying to keep costs down in light of the rising prices of metals like copper. Because copper was becoming increasingly expensive, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc composition for the penny starting in 1982. This change was a significant moment in U.S. coinage history, and the 1983 penny became part of that new era. So, you might be wondering, how much is the 1983 penny actually worth? The answer depends on its condition. For most of us, the 1983 penny is still circulating as a common coin. If you find one in your change, it's worth exactly 1 cent, or its face value. That's right, this penny is still used for everyday transactions across the United States, so it's not a rare find in and of itself. However, while most 1983 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are certain factors that can make them worth much more than their face value. Let's talk about that. Now, here's where things get really exciting. There are certain rarities and errors on the 1983 penny that could make it extremely valuable. Let's start with the double die error. The double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the image of Abraham Lincoln and the date to appear doubled. This is one of the most popular types of errors for the 1983 penny, and it's highly sought after by collectors. A 1983 double die penny in great condition can fetch anywhere from depending on its specific grade. Another thing collectors look for in the 1983 penny is the no mint mark version. In 1983, the U.S. Mint made an odd decision to omit the mint mark from some of the pennies struck in Philadelphia. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those minted in Denver are marked with a D. However, in 1983, a handful of pennies from the Philadelphia Mint were struck without a mint mark at all, and these are the ones collectors are after. Though these coins are not extremely rare, they are still more collectible than regular 1983 pennies, and they could be worth $10 to $20 or more in high grades. Before we continue, we need to talk about a very special version of the 1983 penny, the copper penny. In the transition from bronze to copper-plated zinc, there are some pennies that were accidentally struck using the old bronze planchets, resulting in a 1983 copper penny. These rare pennies are highly prized by collectors, and the value can be huge. These copper planchet pennies were produced in very limited quantities, and if you come across one, it could be worth thousands of dollars. In fact, a single 1983 copper penny in good condition has sold for as much as $10,000 at auction. Now that we know the value of rare 1983 pennies, you may be wondering where to find them. As I mentioned earlier, the is still very much in circulation, and you may find one in your daily change. The key is to inspect your pennies closely. Look for double die errors, no mint mark varieties, or even the rare copper pennies. You can also check out coin shows, coin dealers, or online auctions for these valuable varieties. But remember, always pay attention to the condition of the coin, as that can significantly affect its value. So, what's the big takeaway here? The 1983 penny may seem like a humble coin, but it has the potential to be worth far more than its face value. Whether it's a double die error, a no mint mark variety, or even a rare copper penny, there's a lot of potential for finding hidden treasures within your change jar. Shows a person holding up a magnifying glass to a penny, with a bright light highlighting its features. Even if your 1983 pennies aren't particularly rare, it's still a fun coin to collect, especially considering its role in the transition of US coinage. So, keep your eyes peeled and keep collecting. That's it for today's deep dive into the 1983 penny. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your coin journey, this humble penny offers plenty of surprises if you know where to look. Make sure to check your change and keep those pennies safe. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare, valuable coin. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or if you have any questions. We'll be back with more coin insights soon. Until next time, happy collecting.